is Astrologer Pam Younghans. Here is my North Point Astrology Journal, your guide to planetary energies for the week of September 30th to October 6th, 2024. October's new moon, which occurs at 11:49 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Wednesday, October 2nd, is also an annular solar eclipse. Energetically, a solar eclipse impacts us more profoundly than a regular new moon, and can also influence our lives for 6 months or longer after the event. While not a total eclipse, this annular solar eclipse is visually quite dramatic. It is called a ring of fire eclipse because the moon does not fully block the solar disk, but instead leaves the outer fiery rim of the sun visible. The eclipse can be seen from the South Pacific Ocean, South America, the Atlantic Ocean, and Antarctica. Wednesday's lunation is called a south node eclipse because the sun and moon will be in close proximity to the karmic south node. This type of eclipse highlights qualities and behaviors that we must transmute if we are to progress on our evolutionary journey. It can bring up old patterns and tendencies that we must leave behind if we are to advance. A south node eclipse in Libra calls for us to redefine our relationships with others and with ourselves to see if and where we are out of balance. It shows us where we may be prioritizing outer harmony over personal integrity, or where we might avoid taking a risk because it could disrupt the status quo. It also reminds us of the importance of trusting our own instincts rather than relying on others' perspectives and opinions. At the time of the eclipse, when the two luminaries align at 10 degrees 3 minutes of Libra, they are also closely conjunct Mercury, black moon Lilith, the asteroid Astrea, and the dwarf planet Makemake. And all of the aforementioned bodies are in hard aspect to Mars and to Ceres. As you might surmise, this is a powerful interplay of energies. Mercury's strong activation at the time of the eclipse highlights events and challenges involving transportation, travel, communication, networking, information sharing, and technology. As we try to make logical sense of the world around us, we may also deal with symptoms related to mental health and involving our nervous systems. Strength is found in the ability to know and stand by our truth, and in our capacity to make clear, reasonable assessments and decisions. As we move through this week, we could be inundated with information, Mercury, that triggers intense emotions, Black Moon Lilith. Feelings of vulnerability result in anger and mama bear protectionism, driving defensive action, Mars and Cancer. Questions of fairness and equal treatment arise, compelling us to face issues that we might usually avoid, Astrea. Worries about humanity's relationship to nature could inspire some to environmental or social activism, Makemake. Concerns also arise about who is legally responsible for food quality and supply, as well as the well-being of families and children, Ceres and Capricorn. I also want to mention that the full moon linked to this week's solar eclipse is a very powerful one and will extend the transformational eclipse zone energies into the next 2 weeks at least. The new lunar cycle that begins this Wednesday will climax with the full moon in Aries on October 17th. At the time of that lunation, a cardinal grand cross will form between the moon, Eris and Chiron in Aries, the sun and Juno in Libra, Mars in Cancer, and Pluto in Capricorn. This configuration will strongly activate the power plays and battles of will represented by the Mars-Pluto opposition that perfects on November 3rd. I'll write more on this influence in the next 2 issues of this journal, but wanted to give you a heads up. Here are my brief interpretations of this week's most important planetary aspects day by day. On Monday, the Sun is exactly conjunct Mercury. The desire to reach consensus motivates conversations today. We have the ability to see both sides of an issue, so we'll need to be clear on our truth when making decisions. There are no major aspects exact on Tuesday. Wednesday is the day of the new moon solar eclipse. The new lunar cycle begins at 11:49 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, when the sun and moon align at 10 degrees 3 minutes of Libra. Also on Wednesday, Mercury is sesquiquadrate Uranus. Our minds are scattered and communications could be derailed today. We could also receive surprising news that requires us to rethink our plans. Nervous energy is heightened. On Thursday, Venus is sesquiquadrate Neptune. A tendency to idealize a person or to overvalue an object can lead to disappointment. We may not see a situation clearly, leading to misjudgments. Also on Thursday, Mercury is quincunx Saturn. The glass may appear to be half empty instead of half full with this aspect. The mind tends to be more pessimistic or cynical than usual. Frustrations and delays in communications and travel are possible. On Friday, the Sun is sesquiquadrate Uranus. A restlessness and a need for independence inspire eccentric or surprising behaviors today. But Venus is trine Saturn on Friday. This influence supports greater honesty, intimacy, and commitment in personal relationships. Stability is based on a deeper understanding of each person's motivations. On Saturday, Mercury is exactly square Mars. People may be argumentative and defensive. Words are spoken bluntly, hastily, or forcefully. On Sunday, the Sun is quincunx Saturn. It may be hard to see silver linings with this aspect. We are challenged to be realistic but not pessimistic. If your birthday is this week, your abilities to think clearly and to communicate calmly are central to your sense of fulfillment this year. You may be especially drawn to learn, teach, or write. Problems can arise if you become too protective of your ideas and feel you must defend them in some way. Do your best not to take things personally. Remember that most people are not intentionally hurtful, merely self-absorbed. An inner restlessness urges you to try something new and to be open to exploring new ideas this year. This is Astrologer Pam Younghans wishing you an inspired week. Thank you for being with me on this journey.
We hope that you have enjoyed this article. For over 30 years, we at Inner Self have sought to encourage new attitudes and new possibilities. For more inspiration, visit us at innerself.com. Thank you. Visit the Inner Self Market for new attitudes and new possibilities. You'll find inspiring books, wonderful music CDs, audiobooks, card decks, candles, jewelry, gifts, all kinds of wonderful things. Visit us at market.innerself.com.